Hello, innovators. I'm Todd Wyant, and welcome to the Bridging the Gap podcast presented by Applied Software Greatech Group. You're invited to join our conversation to model the future of construction innovation and the digital transformation adventure of this great industry. We recorded this conversation with Ryan Diekemper of Poettker Construction at the Advancing Preconstruction show in Denver. Hope you enjoyed the conversation. So thanks for joining us here, Ryan. Super excited to get to chat with you. Let's start with kind of how you got into the industry.
Well, I'll go way back to when I was little. My dad built houses for a living. So
Okay, nice.
When I was a kid, I spent a lot of time in the garage helping him build cabinets. Been on many roofs, hung a bunch of drywall. That's what I did throughout high school.
Yeah.
Had a lot of interest in electrical, actually. Went into school, was an electrical engineer. Got an electrical engineering degree from University of Missouri-Rolla. And moved my way in from when I graduated there. I started working for a consulting firm. I guess that was back in 2004. Worked there all the way up until 2021, I guess it was. And then that's when I moved over to Poettker. When I was consulting, my last 5 years of that, I ran a firm for them. It was mechanical, electrical, plumbing. So did a lot of K through 12 work, that type of work, university work.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just always had when I was going on a consulting side, I always enjoyed being in the field. Even if it was always working out the issues, I was always ended up being the guy that got out, and if there was an issue, to go and investigate, what we can do, what we could change, being the guy in front of the owners. And then when I had the opportunity to come to Poettker Construction, on the other side of the table, if you would, on the construction side, it wasn't an easy decision, but it's something I'm really enjoying. So it seemed like a little bit of a seamless transition.
That's awesome.
From going from one side of the table to the other.
Yeah. So, what was the kind of biggest, maybe unexpected challenge in switching sides, if you will?
Both of them have a lot of hours required, consulting side as well as on the construction side. We're always working deadlines. We still have deadlines, still trying to make your bid dates, or I'm on Precon side, obviously. So trying to make bid dates or RFP submittal dates. That's probably always the biggest challenge. And then just balancing teams within the company to make sure that we're getting everything done properly.
Yeah. So we're at Advancing Preconstruction here. Wow. What brought you over to Precon? Why come to an event like this?
Just to see, what others are doing. Try to get a few takeaways from it. There's some things, that are familiar. Some things is like, just maybe a light will go off, and just if I get a couple takeaways to be able to bring back and help win a few awards, I think that'll make it all worth it.
Yeah. Any takeaways so far? I know we're early. We're recording this on one of the pre.
Yeah, I think I've been on two sessions already, Todd. Come on now. But no, the first sessions we were talking about RFPs and what to look through or look for. Just a couple different ways and just different perceptions on how to look at that RFP and be able to dig out of what the owner might actually be looking for.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good takeaway there. And not having boilerplates. We're all getting to the hitting the easy button, the boilerplates, and not doing that. I don't want to be able to take one RFP response and in 10 years the RFP response looked the same, right? So that was, it's a good takeaway. So it was just something to be able to be unique, to be able to stand out, listen in the owner's mindset, as if you are the owner. Mm-hmm. That way you kind of take it back and, make sure you're telling them what they're wanting to hear.
Yeah. Let's start drilling down into some Precon here. So what do you think is one of the biggest misconceptions that people have around Precon?
That we're just inputting numbers. It's, we're sitting behind a computer just throwing numbers in and not digging into the details, or, I think that's a big misconception. I think especially now, there is still hard bidding going on, obviously, out there, but the days of rip and read bids and we don't do as much of that anymore. So you're having to talk to the owners. You're at interviews. You're going to have discussions. You're going to be explaining that. So I think the misconception of that you're just at your desk and just working, just inputting numbers that you're receiving from subcontractors is couldn't be any more wrong, to be honest with you. So there's a lot of communication that goes on. So
Well, let's knock that down a bit more. Walk me through kind of what's the process like? What's the a day in the life of Precon?
well, it depends on what role you are in Precon. So if you're coming out of school, what can you expect? That support role is going to be supporting a lead estimator. That lead estimator is going to dive in and really get to know the details of the project. He or she's going to delegate down to the support role. That support role person is going to be reaching out to subcontractors, gaining interest, maybe taking on a few Division 10 or other divisions where you can do some quantitative takeoffs, and that type of stuff, and then talking with those subcontractors that have committed to the project and making sure we understand the details of the project, and just to make sure we are fully grasping the entire project and getting a full scope.
How do you ensure cost estimation and accuracy in cost estimation and budget management in Precon?
I guess there's two ways to look at that. You're going to have your self-perform side as well as your subcontractor side. So as far as accuracies, let's just talk subcontractor first. We're going to go through and do a review of those drawings and documents as well, and sort of do a takeoff, or have not a full takeoff, but have a general idea of what we need to be looking for, quantities and scope wise. And when we get those scopes from the subcontractors, make sure we're thoroughly reviewing those to make sure they align with what we expected to see. And if they didn't, then we need to be having those phone calls and conversations to make sure that we are all aligned and everything's accounted for. And most of the time, they're probably going to be the ones that are correct, but then we need to understand, okay, what might be out there that we might not have thought about as far as coordination, and like an MEP, plumbing. If we have to do sanitary, if we didn't know that they had to have saw cuts, who has that saw cut, who has that patching, just make sure there's no holes there. So
how has technology kind of come in and changed the game?
Takeoffs are obviously, we use on-screen takeoff quite a bit. The days of pencil and paper are long gone, but now we still utilize on-screen takeoff to where we can get quantities and everything off that. However, in the future, and actually not future, it's here, is AI is something that, it's a big topic here at Precon, Advancing Precon right now. So that's something that in the future, as that continues to evolve, I think it even takes out even less errors with that, once everybody gets to a point where you can trust it.
Yeah. What's kind of your gut reaction with the world of AI?
One of my first bosses always told me, if you're not evolving, you're going to be a dinosaur. So you're going to be extinct. So you have to kind of work your way through it. You're going to have some areas where you're going to be uncomfortable with it, but work alongside of it in your old way, as with the AI, to confirm that you're trusting it, and do that for a while. My gut reaction is, oh, I don't know. Is it really going to catch everything? Is it, and then now if I'm not digging into the drawings, is my estimator really going to know the details of, something he might not have found by not being able to go through them drawings and really diving in and trying to find every nut and bolt, if you would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think the trust but verify adage is important, especially when it comes to AI. And with AI coming in, there's some incredible advancements and potential there, but it also, you can't take the human out of it for sure. It takes that kind of creative problem solving of the people are really good at to review and analyze the data that AI is putting out there. So it's definitely a partnership there.
It's a new process that have to be developed, right? You're going to have to go through and get the checks and balances of it. Yeah. We have our checks and balances now from, when they first start using on screen. I'm sure everybody was worried that the scales and everything weren't going to be right. Are we really going to be able to draw this polyline and it's going to tell me that this foot, is it really 10 foot? I didn't scale it by hand. So after a while, I don't see anybody verifying that anymore. So over the years, probably the way AI will go as well.
Yeah,
So
it's a good comparison. The change management. Nobody likes
exactly, and
to
everybody, no
change.
one likes
That's a
change.
slow evolution for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So how do you, on the pre-con side, identify and mitigate risk that uh, are happening during the pre-con phase?
So identifying the risk, and it's basically the unknowns, right? Or what you
Mhm.
don't, what you look at that set of documents and what can't I quantify or what can't I put labor hours to and be sure of. Um, so you just need to identify where your holes are and bring those up, and then okay, this is what this could entail.
Are there any kind of common challenges to being able to identify the risk and seeing where those holes are?
Yeah, the biggest common challenges with risk is just labor pool and material shortage and lead times and what you don't know.
Mhm.
Um, Now you can mitigate some of that by talking to suppliers and understanding what lead times are out there and identifying everything you can up front, to be able to make sure your schedule is accurate. Because if
Mhm.
you plan on a 2-month project and the electrical panel is going to take 3 months to get there, or even 2 months to get there, then now your schedule's busted. Now you messed up your entire pricing exercise.
Right, right. So kind of looking out, do you see any emerging trends or technology coming into the scene to uh, kind of help in the advancement of pre-con?
Well, I think we mentioned one is the AI, and we just recently started using drones and for our pre-con site as well,
Mm.
to be able to go out and do topos of existing areas that we're going to be doing construction to get a better idea of what we're going to be running into.
Yeah.
Um, Being able to use those same drones during construction as well to do um, progress photos or just take them weekly pictures. You can kind of see a building come up. So,
Mhm.
so I think drones is going to be one, AI is another. All the software that's out there to help get the historical data and be able to have that at your fingertips also helps you with the risk side, as
Mhm.
you were saying earlier. You know that you're going to be this type of projects have been running in this range, so just being able to log all that. I think the industry was and is still is heavily utilizing Excel. I'm starting to see it migrate to more of the cost OSs and the Beck technologies and all that we have in the exhibit hall here this week. But um, I think all that helps in the long run.
Yeah. How do you see the role of somebody in pre-con changing over the next couple of years, or what's kind of the next evolution of the uh,
I think
the
sort of,
profession?
yeah, sort of like I started out. I mean, there's uh, I think the pre-con personnel are going to be a lot more involved with owner interaction and client interviews,
Mhm.
and just being at the forefront of winning the project up front and not just behind a computer inputting numbers. I think that's something that has changed over the years. I know at our company, it seems like that's changed over the years. So um, they're starting to get out and be able to actually go through the project with the owner more.
So with different stakeholders coming in, how do you foster that collaboration to create those bonds and make it truly effective and kind of build the trust, I guess, between all those different stakeholders?
Yeah. Well, if you come up, you're going to have to just be given smaller pieces until you just, you, to me, I always like to bring somebody in and give them a piece that I know that they can be successful with to gain to where they can gain confidence in themselves. Right.
Mhm.
So, and then you just slowly grow on that and until you get to where they're doing their own projects and they're doing, leading their own thing. I don't know if that's exactly what you asked, but
Well, sort of. So how do you start connecting, I guess, the people, not just necessarily on the front side, but keeping that ongoing relationship in those lines of communications up and running?
I think trying to be collaborative with everybody. We don't want anybody talking just in a pigeonhole doing their project themselves. I'd like the entire department to be collaborating with each other and talking with each other and running ideas past each other.
Are there certain tools or kind of stand-up processes that you have to help foster that?
Yeah, I guess we utilize Procore a lot. I'm going to kind of go into operations a little bit. So the reason I bring that up is because we use Procore for daily logs and, you know, progress photos and weekly reports. So our estimators are pulling all that information to see and how that correlates to how they actually took off a project or how they envisioned a project going. So that collaboration between departments as well, and utilizing Procore and its abilities to share all that information, as you know, all of our estimators do that, you know, on a weekly or daily basis, really. So
yeah, interesting. So we're going to futurecast again here for a minute. What do you think the main topic of conversation will be at Advancing Precon 2025?
My guess is we're going to have a lot of topics about how AI has pushed it. I mean, I keep going back to that, but that's just keep what
all roads lead to AI right now.
It does right now. And then, you know, I think probably 10 years ago, it was probably, you know, the on-screen takeoff type systems. It might have been longer than that, but probably see how they're going to be wanting to talk about that quite a bit in 2025, because they're going to want to be able to build that trust that you're just talking about. You know, we're going to have to trust it to work with it. And if you show all these case studies of how it's working and what they're doing with it, that'll help progress the industry farther into that and gain the trust to move forward with it.
Sure. So kind of a couple rapid fire questions for you. When I say the phrase modeling the future, what does that bring up in your mind? What does that mean and look like to you?
Modeling the future to me, I'm always going back to my department there, but modeling the future to me is, you know, we're always wanting to grow as a company, right? But the workforce isn't as much. So modeling the future that is going to be how can we be more efficient to build who we have within our department, as well as, you know, keep growing as a company. So that's the first thing that came to my mind is just, you know, what does a model look like of pre-construction and for the pre-construction department is, so we're going to have to do more with less or more with the same, right?
Sure.
So that means empowering others. When we do that, we have to trust, and to do that, we got to bring on programs that are going to give us more time to do others and to bring on more work. So.
Sure. Yeah. What about
it? Doesn't make sense. I know, because it doesn't make sense to me.
I think I get you. You're going on the efficiency.
Efficiency. Yeah.
I get you. What is innovation? What does that mean to you?
Isn't that the same thing? No.
Modeling the future is different than innovation.
Well, I think I answered that question as innovation, but no. Innovation for Precon is going to be using the systems that are going to be available. And not just it's going to be using the systems that are available on the operations side too, so we can monitor how projects are going, and then how we can better communicate and collaborate with the other departments, either if that's safety or quality or operations, to make sure we are encompassing all of that into ultimately each project.
Nice. How do people find out more information or connect with you?
Probably my LinkedIn page, probably be the best. I don't think I have too much more than that. So
perfect. LinkedIn is all you need. So
yeah,
that's just one of my favorites. Last question for you. If I could give you all construction power, you could snap your fingers and innovate one thing in the industry, what would you pick to innovate?
I don't know.
Anything immediately kind of jump out as a super big pain point for you? What's the biggest pain point you got?
Well, you know, the unknowns. A lot of our projects, the biggest unknowns, you know, you want to get out of the ground. So anything you can do to, you know, we have geotech engineers, you know, obviously doing that, we get all of our reports and everything on, but if there's something that we still run into unknowns. So, and you know, how them soils are, that's always the biggest struggle for us, is just getting to a point that there's not struggle, I guess, risk. So,
yeah, it's something that would instantly list all the unknowns that you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be amazing.
That's great. Yeah, can you come up with
I like that innovation.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Well, Ryan, thanks so much for taking the time and joining us.
No problem. So
awesome.